Well, at the National Association, we're really about networking and information for our member organizations. And our member organizations are they're the incubators. They're the incubation programs that are out there supporting the entrepreneurs and supporting entrepreneurship in their communities. And so what we try to do is provide a network so they can share information with one another, so they can take that back into their individual communities and do a better job at what they're doing. And also providing a network for them so that there can be business deals, so there can be interactions and transactions and things like that occur between the individual programs. So we've been doing this for quite some time. The association has been in existence since the mid-'80s, and it's certainly a lot easier now to do networking and information sharing than it was many years ago. So I started with the association in around 2000, and even then, even though the World Wide Web was there, there's many new social networking tools and things like that can make our impact a lot stronger as an association. NBIA, like I said, we're really about providing information and networks for our members so that they can do what they do better. So much of what we do is we go out and we look at the best incubation programs from around the world, and we find out what they're doing and what's worked and what hasn't. And then we try to pull that information back together and then put it back out to communities that are just trying to start a business incubation program or ones that are trying to improve their programs. Before I came to the National Association in 2000, I worked in a business incubator providing business assistance and helping run that incubator for about 9 years. And again, so this is in the 90s, and the resources for this sort of networking just weren't there. And so it was just much more difficult. Here's what I often say is that when I was working in the business incubator, now that I've come to the National Association, I have this macro view of the industry and I see all these great things that are happening. And what I realized in the last 9 years being in the association is that I recreated the wheel over and over and over again in our incubation program because I didn't have the sort of connections that I now have by engaging in this association. We have about 1,950 members. There are now about 7,000 business incubators around the world. We have representation from 67 different countries. So the learning network has gotten much, much bigger. Our goal is to continue to provide what our members need to be able to do business incubation in their communities at the highest level possible. And now we just have a lot more tools to do that with because of technology. So our CEO was recently just talking about when she first started in the association in the 80s, she would send a letter to China, or she would get a letter from China. That took 6 months, literally 6 months to get it, and then it would take another 6 months to get the return response. And then they got a fax machine, but those got turned off, and now we have instant communication. And so we're just trying to capitalize on this new technology and making sure that our members get exactly what they want when they need it. OneMedTV, what we're always trying to do at the association level is look for partners and look for people that we can work with that are going to provide more value for our members, right? And so we have a lot of incubators, obviously dealing with all kinds of different companies. There's a fairly big focus on life science and biotech and that sort of thing. And we just wanted to be able to provide another opportunity for our members' companies to get the word out about what they're doing so they can get investment, form better partnerships, and drive their businesses forward. That's what we're all about. It's all about those client companies and their success. The way I look at it is at the association level, the way that we will be successful is to make our members successful and ultimately their company successful, right? That's going to bring resources back to our association so that we can continue to do advocacy work on behalf of the industry. We can really promote the value of this, and we can provide even more member services and continue to grow what we can do to support, the incubation program and ultimately the companies that are out there. So when I think about resources for the association, what's good for the client companies, what's good for our incubation programs is what's good for us. And, this is, that'll all come back to us. So I'm always thinking about developing services and things that can make our members more successful and their companies more successful.